Mm. Oh shit, man, I'm live. Okay. Hey, how you guys doing out there, man? Glad you could be here on time with me. You know what? Long week. Man, why does it say 0 people, man? I thought Daniel was here. Man, why does it do this to me every single week? It's got to be more than one person here. I'm here. Right? I don't know, man. Maybe it's like a minute delay or something. I don't know, man. Maybe they set that up for cuss words. You know, maybe I should be made like more duly aware of that. Huh. Oh well. Screw it. That's almost a minute. Let me maintain. Oh, 2 people. There we go. All right. Well, there's at least 2 people here. All right. Thanks for getting here, 2 people, man. I'm glad you guys could make it. I really am. Hey, share this out if you don't mind. I mean, unless you're Cunningham. Then, like, oh, yeah, share it out. Even if you're Cunningham, man. That's cool. I don't care. All right. Yeah, you know, I mean, I assumed more than 2 people. Popularity really waned. Yeah, well. So, man, what's on everybody's mind here? It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday evening. It's 6. Oh, 5 people. Oh, there it is. I did. You know, I felt like, whoa, man, hey, better set up straight, man. Look more professional and stuff. Can I set my hair? There we go. Man, I wish I could beat my hair, man. God, some good hair. All right. So anyway, here it is. It's Tuesday evening. I am live in my cat in the hat tie. Get it? See, cap, hat. You see where I'm at? In French, I suppose. El gato and a sombrero, I believe, in Mexico. If I'm correct on that, and I could maybe be wrong. I don't really speak Mexicanese or the like, so I could be wrong. How you doing, Don? Michael. Hey, Michael, man, ain't seen you in a minute. Anyway, so I am here live, and what is today's date, man? What is today? Today is January the 7th, 2019, 2020. My bad. I'm getting used to the new year. And January 7th of this year actually makes a very close friend of mine, Lily. She turned 7 today. They was my neighbor that lived south of me here just a piece until like last year. But until that time, known her whole life, and I missed her party. I gave my apologies. I told him, I said, you know what? I'm set to do a live show, or I'd be there. I'd totally be there. So, Lily, happy birthday goes out to you, and I hope that, you know, it's the greatest birthday you've had yet. All right, so everybody, Kim on the trail. Glad you're here. You know what? And I'm sorry about this, but I noticed one time I was watching a guy who was talking about how to do a live show, and he kept saying hi to the people as they would come in, and I noticed that got very annoying, you know, in watching, because they kept saying hi to people all the time. But I am very happy that everybody that is here. So, you know, and normally I just say hi when I see that somebody has came in. Alaska Blue, man, right on. Thanks for being here. Don, Chris as well. Wombat Dundee. Sounds so Australian, you know. And I think you are Australian, if I do remember correctly. Okay, so anyways, let's get to the beef of the matter. This week, I had a new person of interest brought to my attention by 2 differing people, and I'm kind of still looking into that. But this person, and I mean, I don't want to give his name, you know, out right now. And, you know, but that's because I'm still looking into him. Call me selfish, you know, but anyway, I am looking into this person, and it's a little hard. It's hard to check them off the criteria in the same manner, because I don't think that person was originally from Indiana. And as far as like an Indiana record, they wouldn't have one, or if they would have one, it never occurred. So anyway, that's kind of the scoop there. But, I am keeping my eyes open on that person. But again, I heard it from two different people. So that kind of, makes me wonder. New name, though. It isn't like Charles Eldridge or other such, but, I don't know, man. I checked Charles Eldridge off about as soon as I seen his face. I didn't even have to look much further in. Just knew it wasn't him. You know where I'm at? All right. Well, hey, man, we're missing people. We really are. We're missing people here. I don't know. It seems like every week I say the same identical. I say Tuesday evenings at 6, p.m. Eastern time. That's the standard I stick to. And you know what? True fact. Oh, there. Hey, thanks for being here, Devil. And true fact, I become very accustomed to being here at that time. I never wait for a notification to be here. I show up positively every single time, on time. Always. That's how I play it. Dorton? Yeah, Kim on the trail. Is this new person live in Delphi? I'm not sure I understand the question there. Exactly. Oh, do they live in Delphi? You know what? I really can't go into that any further. Like I said, it's kind of a thing. I don't think that they told me to keep it secret, but I told them that I would look into it. And you know what? Actually, as far as that goes, I will ask them if it's okay to pass that name out, to just put it out there to everybody, because then that way, I mean, it would be like more people actually looking into it. And let me be quite honest with you. When it comes to looking into people, I have ways of looking into people, but man, there are other people that I know, man, that are just really technical with it, man. They're meticulous and they can find that like little piece of evidence that you need. You know where I'm at? And that ain't me. I can look at the evidence and make of that as is, but as far as finding all of that, there's some stuff that goes into it. I think some of it's like know-how on finding it. People that's looked into legal matters and such like that in the past, they know the methods by which of finding it. Whereas I'm a little lost there. Vehicles in the same like manner, it's kind of hard just to come by, but I know it's public material. I know that the public can go find that. But again, man, I mean, it's like knowing where to go. That's where I'm a little bit in the ignorant of. I don't really know for sure. But other people do. Oh, man, 23 people. Holy crap. Yeah. It's like an onslaught of people. You know what I need? A band. God, man. You know what? I don't know why I didn't do that this week. I could have hired a band, had somebody over here doing rim shots and the like, man. Yeah, I think that would really step up the show, and I'd give me somebody to talk to, relay back to, man, like, hey, what do you think, Bob? Bob would be like, yeah, as like band people would do. All right. Well, anywho, the reason that I called this wishful thinking tonight, and this may become the theme of my live show every week. I had someone that got a hold of me. I will call this person a troll of sorts. They get a hold of me and they say, hey, I reached this dude, and we're in agreement that you are just wishful thinking. Just wishful thinking. You ain't got crap to say on this guy aside of your misbelief in his guilt. Which, fair enough. I give that to the person. Hey, they can believe as they like, man. That's everyone's dream, man. I mean, that's everyone's right. Believe in whatever you want, man. Go believe it. You know what? Hey, I heard a bazillion theories on Facebook. I heard them all. Well, not off of Facebook, but I heard them all through other people that reached me asking me about them. That's how I heard them. And you know what? A person is just free enough, man. You can go believe that. You can go pick any theory. You can go pick any number of theories. You can go pick all the little pieces out of all the theories and make them your own theory, if that's what you want to believe. However, this troll then ends it like this. I hope he, Thomas Bruce, and his attorney sue you for defamation. Well, that was like a steel-toed kick in the balls. That really hurt, to think that a human being out there would select an evil, malevolent monster like that over me, a guy merely looking to pass the truth out to the people that live around him on YouTube. God, that really hurt, didn't it? Yeah. Well, what did I say? Exactly. If I could have reached through YouTube, I would have got charges, but I can't. They stopped me from doing that. I mean, I can hit the mic or I can go like that, but I mean, I can't reach in and just grab a person because, you know, as the obvious would happen. But give me time, man. I'm working on a machine that will allow this. There it is. Yeah. Of course, my ego says, show that man's comment. There it is. That's his comment. And thanks for your comment. I appreciate it. So, anywho, that's kind of where that goes. Now, as far as wishful thinking, I want to be quite clear. Very clear. I don't think any of this is wishful. I think it all stands exactly as I've stated it. To the nth degree as I've stated it. Right down to the fact of that will never ever come out, that will never be released. I want to point this out right now. Will never come out like that. The law enforcement is not going to come out and go, oh, we gave that briefing just to throw that information away, you know, sweep it under the rug so we ain't got to go investigate it. They're not going to come out and tell you that. I mean, they didn't do it when they did it, and they're not going to do it later. If anybody says, well, how come you didn't point at him as the suspect a long time ago? They go, well, we never got to go talk to him. So we didn't know till we could talk to him. Well, we had some evidence, but we couldn't come forward with that. Now, next question. And let's keep this on the suspect. That's all it is. That's all it will amount to. When it comes out that it is TB, that's how it will come out. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Not only do we got him on this, we got him on that, we got him on this murder and this murder. It's going to come out. It's going to be effing huge. Huge. So huge, in fact, that, you know what? I think that from what I know, the 4 murders that I know, the 4 sets of murders is only going to be is probably about half, maybe half. I think it could go above that many more in California. I mean, he's out there for like 12 years, you know, off and on, stationed there. That's going to amount to quite a bit of his crimes, I think, out there. But I think that in all of them, he left DNA. I don't think he was too afraid to leave fingerprints. I think after a minute, he knew. You know, he knew his fingerprints wasn't in the file, so he didn't really care. This is why when I told people there was fingerprints in Delphi, what? Are you mad? You're insane. You're crazy, cat. Nutty, pal. No. I just knew that when Trooper Riley told me that. When he said it's like the man had never committed a crime. Fair enough. Is that because his DNA don't match in the database? Well, I can't comment on that. Maybe he has committed a crime, but we can find no traces of him. Well, that says to me a lot more than DNA. And DNA is only a fraction of crimes, man, that you would ever get that on. You know, it isn't the whole. Well, it might be now. But looking back, it never was. It was violent offenses. But it don't matter what they arrest you for. Matters not, man. It could be a little bitty minor discrepancy, a misdemeanor of sorts. They'll fingerprint you, man. If they arrest you, you're getting fingerprinted. And that is what led me to the conclusion that they had fingerprints. You know what? There is a side note to that. And I had another subscriber, and in fact, I will call that person Miss Cavalier. She had wrote me this week in an email and was talking about Prosecutor Ives, Robert Ives in Burlington, Delphi, my bad. that he had said off the bat that there was, and I could be misquoting here a bit. So if this is a little off, just take it for me just trying to remember, that there was some odd evidence that was left behind. And he felt that it was critical evidence and that they would probably have the suspect in a matter of days. Well, that led me to think, well, what kind of odd evidence? You know, what kind of evidence was he talking about? Now, I realized that if a person left fingerprints, especially at such a crime, that would be odd. But it may go deeper than that. You know, it could be something very suggestiatory, you know, that was never thought about before. Now, I'm not looking to solve the murder. I mean, exactly how that crime occurred. That's not in the nature of what I'm doing. I was just trying to profile out a suspect, but that's been done. You know, that's been done here. So now I do hold other people as a person of interest. If somebody sends me a person of interest, I'll look them over. If you make a convincing argument, I'll look into that person. Sure enough, will. And I'll give it straight to you. You know how I feel, but that's how I feel. You see where I'm at? I'm Michael J. Catt here, man. I mean, I'm not law enforcement. So law enforcement may feel different, but law enforcement's working with more material than I am. You know, they got fingerprints, they got DNA, man. They have investigators out there canvassing, talking to people, getting answers. I don't have that, man. I got to do everything manually off my computer, man, to find all this crap. So I'm not working as law enforcement does. Put to you like, you know what? I had a guy call me last night. You know what? Very little of this. I mean, I really should, because I didn't. I think he may have told me his name, and I won't give the county, but I think he was a undersheriff of an Indiana county at one time. And he had brought up a differing case that I've talked about on my channel. And we was talking about that for a long minute. And that's the one that actually led him to call me. Wait, now that's kind of weird. I didn't really think about that. No, that's it. That's what it was. It was the live I did after I released that video. I think that's the one that he saw, because he said it was a live show that had the telephone number on it. And that's why he called me. But anyway, he had some really good information on that case. And, you know, I do appreciate people like emailing. Oh, hang on. Let me give you my email here real quick. Like, bam. That's my email. Mr. Cat 420. That's right. There was 419 Mr. Cats before me. I was very, you know, I had to take that, man. I had to take 420. Yeah. There was a lot of Mr. Cats out there. I mean, I know it seems like a rare, like, last name. That's why I picked it. But yeah, they're out there nonetheless. But anyway, if you have information on a kid, man, you know what? I did this one time in live. I remember doing it. But if you have information on a different case, you know, aside of Delphi or Delphi itself, or a person of interest in the Delphi crime, or any other, especially Indiana. I mean, I like to kind of keep it local or in a surrounding state area, but, you know, otherwise I'd just be out there like looking into every crime. And people have sent me some crimes that they knew of, and I really liked a few of those. And I looked into a few of those, and one is the one, and it was sent to me because the person thought that it looked like my suspect, and I concurred. I said, you know what? I think you're 100% correct on this. No, I didn't at first. Because I didn't see where it was on the map. I was looking closely at it on the map right there, you know, in that area, but I didn't like widen it out. But when I went back and looked to it, when they had reached me a second time about it later, then I went there and we was talking about it while I was looking at the Google Maps, and I'm like, oh crap. You know, and that's when I'm like, okay, yeah, it's like 11 miles south of his hometown when he was living there, you know. I'm like, okay, I got you. Yeah, covered like a blanket, man. Big old down comforter, in fact. So, and Pate's, same way. That was like 2 miles east of his hometown, heading right to where he lived, 2 o'clock in the morning. Bars had just closed. Her car was broke down. Opportunity. This guy drinks, and when he's drunk and he spots opportunity, he'll snatch it. That's exactly what this brutal bastard does. That is his little, not his motives per se, but it's like part of his MO. He's an opportunity killer. He don't go out and stalk and wait and hunt like that. He stops at places, and if opportunity knocks and he's got that buzz and the courage and everything, very brazenly makes it occur. It's evil. I have nothing really much more to say on that, but that's the evil inside of that person. Something messed up genetically. Something that was there originally at birth, that the environment brought forward. That's the best way I can explain it. You can kind of see it, but then again, you know what? I could say that with a lot of people. I can look at a lot of people and say that person looks a little off, and you know what? Yeah, a person's a little off, man. Everybody knows, 100 people that's a little off, but they're not a killer. It's like the newscaster said when TB went to court. He said, you wouldn't think that this guy would be here on a crime like that. You would think that he was a school teacher, the guy living next door. Man, that's how his friends took him, He's a great guy. Friendly, man, cheerful. Yeah, loving, compassionate, man. Just a great dude. But he wasn't. He was, but he wasn't. There's that split side to his personality. And I'm not calling him schizophrenic. I don't think that he's not reminiscent of being schizophrenic. I think he's fully there, but fully not there. I think that the buzz and it's his genetics with whatever would have brought that out to begin with. He enjoyed it. Yeah, that's right, man. Dr. Topper by Clover Valley. You want a good soda? There it is. Pow! In your face. So, anyway, now it's 23 minutes. Anybody got questions, man? Oh, okay. All right. Well, Devil Ants is going to be calling. I always enjoy when he calls. I really do. Yeah, we do. We appreciate all calls, except for those ones. What was the pizza delivery guy? Never got a pizza. Then the guy that was coming to deliver weed or something like that. Yeah, it didn't happen either. It was all a big prank on me for believing. That's what it was, man. They had me. Yeah, well, you know what? They got me with the pizza. I'll admit it. I believed the pizza. I thought somebody really ordered me a pizza. I thought some cool subscribers hey, you know what? I'm going to send him a pizza, man. He can eat it right there while talking about stuff. Always ready. I'll never forget that. Info on Michigan lady. Are you talking about Adrian Quintal? If so, you know what? Last I heard about that, they had found her body. Now, I think somebody reached me and said, no, she had just drowned. Well, again, man, there's some explaining that needs done. There really is. One, why did she run? Two, why did she run without bullets? Why did she hop out and put her cell phone and boots on the, woman must have just went completely irrationally out of her skull. But then on the flip side, how did she call her friend and relay this if she was that mad? I don't know, man. It sounds more than a bit fishy. Nobody in their right mind would leave a house if somebody was outside that they thought was shooting at them, empty their gun, and then go running off and then fall into a river and drown. Like, what? It won't happen, man. Mark, hey, how you doing, dude? Oh, man, Daniel. Man, I hope you're not diabetic, bro. Man, God. I got a friend that's diabetic like that, man. Can't have sugar. Man, that would just... Huh. Wow. Iran launched missile attacks at U.S. targets in Iraq. Peace, Iran. Hey. Hello? Ah! Hello? 320 pizzas, man. Hey, somebody's calling though. All right, man, you can call on back. It was pizza delivery. Hello. Hey, what's going on, dude? How you doing this week? Putting you on live if you don't mind.
Before I get to the question, man, somebody posted in the chat that we are currently, the U.S. is currently sending missiles into Iraq.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull it up right now, then I'll get to my questions. One question I had sketches, Mike. I saw 2 or 3 articles. Some from the local Fox affiliate there in Indiana.
Hey, you're breaking up real bad.
Hear me now?
Try again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. What I was saying was I've got a few questions. I found some articles about the sketches, and one of them was, from a local Fox affiliate there in Indiana. They were talking about the second sketch was more to what they were, the person that they were looking for, and that now this is what the article said. This is not what I'm saying.
I hear you.
Said that the first sketch, that individual had been cleared. Now, I've not seen that anywhere else, and I was wanting to know where the heck they got that for that article.
You know what? This is why I'm glad that Double Ants calls in. Seriously, man. See, this guy brings questions forth that mean shit. They mean stuff when he says it. Now, you know what? I'm with you on this because here's the deal. And you know what? And again, man, this is something that I wish that I had pre-set up at this time because I had thought about this. When they rolled that, when they came out with the first sketch, they said that, yes, our investigation and the people that we've talked to, and that was the 2 people that seen him, there are only 2 people that saw that suspect. Upon our investigation and talking to these people over 3 months' time, we developed this sketch. Do you believe that that's the guy that's on the bridge? Yes, we do. That is Bridge Guy. They're one of the same. Now, they said that because the 2 people that seen him dressed like that. He was the guy that walked up to him. Now, I've shown a timeline where I can conclude 100% with certainty that, yes, that guy that you see in that photo is the suspect. They never retracted that, okay? But then they gave us the sketch from those 2 people saying, yes, this is the same guy. Now, as he had just stated, if they found that guy, if they found Bridge Guy and they cleared him, why didn't they announce that? Why wouldn't they tell everybody that, oh, we found Bridge Guy, but he's cleared. Don't be looking for this guy anymore. We found him. We ain't giving you his name, but he's cleared. They didn't do that.
You know what? It was like, it went in the article to say that the first suspect was, estimated to be in his 40s to 50s, and that the new sketch, the new person they were looking for, person of interest, was 20 years younger. And I'm like, how in the hell are they getting this info? And none of it's making any sense. If they know, first of all, why ain't they released any of this information to the public?
Exactly. I hear you.
And why is it that only one news outfit is reporting on this? None of the rest are.
Yeah, right. I'm with you. I am. But, it's like I was saying that one time I think Greeno was on here and they're all like, oh, they said, no, don't worry about that first sketch. That he ain't the guy we want. Well, how is it that now, after what you told us at that first press conference, he's no longer that person? Do you know who he is? Can you tell us why he didn't do it? Hey, are we still looking for Bridge Guy, or are you guys just putting this on? I mean, what are you guys up to here? Bridge Guy is still Bridge Guy. Bridge Guy was dressed like TB, identically like TB. But now we're not looking for that guy anymore. Well, they don't need to look for that guy anymore because they know he's in St. Louis County Jail. That's why. And that was the whole beef with putting out the generic sketch and the old information, 18 to 40, because they didn't know. Now they know. Now they know exactly who it is. Just like me.
Well, the article that I read came out in October, the end of October.
This year.
And it just blows my mind that, that they would put that kind of stuff out there. I mean, and the second thing is Mike, they've generated a ton of cash, from donations, government, and the state for that little bitty area right there.
Yeah.
And it's turned into a cash cow. And
well, but
I don't think too related, but they are garnering a lot of cash.
Well, I mean, and I give people their thing on that because a lot of people talk about the cash that's being raised like they're trying to use the murder to make money. And I don't think that that's it. And I'm not thinking that law enforcement's doing that. I think that it really does come down, as I've said, they can't really speak on this guy until they talk to him. And it's, God, what are we looking at now? About 10 months away, but it'll still be like 11 months, before they even he gets his DOC number from Missouri. Then they can go talk to him. Then they can go down and speak to him. And that's when the charges will be filed. Because after they talk to him, bam, he said, here he knows it. He knows that now.
Well, I know that there was one of the things I saw something I read where they were was attacking one of the girls' daddy, real father, and I thought that was a little out there. I couldn't believe that.
Who?
And this was a local deal. They were going after him and his associates over some supposed meth dealing. Now I'm not local. I'm not anyway, but supposedly one of them had got arrested and was being used as an informant.
Well, go ahead.
And they were basically, I don't think if one's, related to the other as far as anything associated with murder, but they were really down in this cat, man. And I mean, they were really, really running him through the cutter.
When you're online or any of your information is online, it should be expected. I mean, I would just put it to you like that. Here I am. I got a weekly live show I do. Thanks for being here. People show up, man, to be a dick. I mean, you know what? That's the way that people are. People don't have thoughts. People only have, I can get online and get attention. That's people. Now, people that are looking at this case and believing that he had anything to do with it or anyone that he knew, anybody that he may have screwed in a drug deal, don't care. You know what? The first people that were checked out were them by the FBI. Guarantee you, every single person in that family and friend was looked into by the FBI, by local, state, surrounding counties, looked into. If it was them, they have enough evidence, they would have nailed that bastard within a couple days. Period. The end. But they didn't. And that's why I say the family had nothing to do with it. Now, you know what? The guy that I talked to last night, I mean, he was, well, you know what? I ain't going there at this time. But no, anyway, man, friends and family of them were covered. So if you think it was like friends, family, or the sheriff or whatnot, stop or at least go somewhere else and keep it in your hometown.
Exactly. Well, it was just, it blew me away that the way they were, this man had just lost his kid and the way they were attacking him. And it was just, wow.
Yeah.
It just blew my mind. But the question I had was, I saw something on there about a lady that's a nurse that supposedly had been sneaking and looking at the original doctor who had done the autopsies, had snuck and looked at his paperwork on the girls and was blabbing to the public about it.
Hey, no.
That's okay.
Yeah, let's don't kind of bring anything like that up.
Well, I just wanted to ask, if
yeah, but well, here's the thing. Somebody had asked me if that could happen, and I said, look, man, if the feds got that information, there ain't nobody going to be finding anything out and then talking. And it's like, why would anybody that was working for a doctor that had access to that material then start talking about it? And if they did, the last thing I would want is for people to go look into that so it's spread about and ruins the investigation. That I don't want.
Well, my question was if they had arrested the woman or not. And if she had, if this is true, she should lose her license.
Well, I have my doubt that it honestly happened. I mean, I can't say that it didn't, but if she did, she should be sent away for a minimum of 20 years plus population.
There's laws and stuff. And another question that while I had you on here was getting over to the guy that had posted the stuff about he was on the search crew and everything like that.
Yeah.
The guy, remember the screenshot that we talked about?
Yeah.
There was a thing where they were going on that they had found some stuff in the creek. Supposedly that a jacket or something was found in the creek, and something else. They didn't elaborate. They went on about some junk they found, but there was something about they had found a jacket in the creek while they was cleaning it. Was there any truth to that?
Well, now we don't really know. I mean, I'll put to you that if they did find that, if it was found, whose jacket? One, I mean, they was 50 feet inshore. And I don't think that the guy would have took a jacket 50 feet back to the Deer Creek to throw it in.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? It's like one of those things that they was looking down through there. Now, if I go down to the Wildcat right here, which is roughly the equivalent size to Deer Creek, I mean, they're almost exactly the same size. Now, if I went down there and I went walking down the Wildcat, I'd find all kinds of stuff, man. Stuff washes ashore all the time. I mean, jackets, shoes, tires, man, you name it, anything that would fall in the creek, it washes down, and there it is. Now, if they was in there and they was looking for anything, they could have found any number of things. But for me to believe that he went 50 feet inland, did that, and then threw some of their property over in the creek without it being the phone, you see where I'm at, then I would be like, well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense as to why.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you see where I'm at. But the thing is if law enforcement found something and that's held as evidence, they never would give that to us. I mean, they wouldn't say, oh, and he went and threw a creek threw it in the creek. Like that would make a connection to somebody. It wouldn't. That's something more that would be in their profession of evidence to where they would look at for more evidence. You see where I'm at?
Yeah. But getting back to the sketches, Mike.
Yeah.
In the article that I was reading, they were discounting, the first sketch, like I said.
Yeah, they will.
The first two people that supposedly seen him, did see him. If that is the case, where in the heck, that leaves the phone, where in the heck, did they come up with their second sketch?
I think it was generic, but now look, I think that they made a generic sketch that has some resemblance to TB in the fatness of the face. They could have used DNA to get a younger look as to what he looked like. Like I said, man, I've compared that with the news sketch to Thomas Bruce when he was roughly the age they're speaking of when he was in the Navy. They look quite a bit alike. But I think it was more of a generic sketch put out. because it fit what it was that they were saying. We now have reason to believe that this man is 18 to 40. Like if like both of the eyewitnesses seen this guy and they're like, hey, 18, 40, yeah, you know, we have no idea. I ain't believing that. You know, I mean, if I met somebody, I could say, yeah, they're 30, 35, like right in that area. Nobody's going to be off by 20 years, if you see where I'm at. So I think that they release a second sketch, generic, to fit their old equation of old information that they were working with, that they probably did feel that. And you know what? I would have probably have felt the same way if I didn't, hadn't at that time, because that was the impression that I had, because we had no idea how old this guy was until TB was arrested. Now I can tell you his exact age. So, you know, I was looking at it as a man of indeterminable age. You know, I mean, we could say he's older than this, but he certainly isn't up to this age. So it left it in a wedge area there of age. Now, they're trying to make it look like he may be younger than what he is, because that's the information that they were originally working with. They now know that that information is false, and they can hand that out willy-nilly because that's not going to affect their real case. You see where I'm at?
Yeah.
And I think that that was the whole reasoning, because that's going to be part of what they say when this comes out. Well, why didn't you tell us it was him? Well, we didn't know. We hadn't spoken with him. Well, we was giving you the information that we had then. That's how it will be. That's exactly how it's going to go down, people. Watch.
That brings up also the fact that, you know, I was looking at some of the maps of the area and how you've got the exit ramps and stuff off the highway and everything there. And, you know, in this day and age where there's cameras everywhere, you know, couldn't the local PDs, the state police could have pulled, you know, some of the local buildings, you know, security footage, like on some of the, you know, some of the roads that access that area, and maybe kind of pulled anything up? Or
no, nada. Okay, see, but I'll tell you why. Law enforcement, especially off the go, didn't have an idea of a car. I don't even know that they still do. I think that anybody that said, oh, there may have been a car parked there at that time. What color was it? Yeah, man, you know what? I remember it being a vehicle. It could have been blue. It could have been green. Yeah, don't really know. Now, off the go, because when I asked the sheriff about that, I said, but a vehicle was never mentioned by law enforcement. He's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, we never did mention a vehicle. And I mean, he had a look on his face like, yeah, we never did. Because, I mean, like, I don't think that it was ever shared that there was, or because if he did have a vehicle, then why would they, if law enforcement knew that he had a vehicle, why would they then conclude that he lived right in that area? Right there. Right in that general vicinity. You see, it's because they was under the same impression as I, that he walked in from Delphi down the railroad tracks to the trail and then followed the railroad tracks back into a residential part of town. They was thinking identically the same way that I was. Now, when I found that he had drove, that changed everything. That was the turning point. I said, that's how I knew the trail. That's why, man. He had been there many times. It was a safe place that he could go to. It was on the reverse state of Evansdale. That's why he showed up. It was just like, in all likelihood, really a matter of statistics, that two young girls showed up at that time. Ironic, very sad, but that's the way it went down.
All right. Well, it threw me, because I was, you know, just thinking, you know, I mean, like I said, in this day and age, you know, there's security cameras everywhere. And
well, there's a lot of security cameras, but again, it's like, one, they knew what the guy looked like probably from the same footage as we got. I don't think that they got any further footage of him just by himself that was better, because if they did, they could have used that rather than the bridge pictures. You see where I'm at?
Yeah.
Because if you couldn't see the victims, but just him, and it was a better photo, then that's what they could have used. So they didn't, I mean, they knew the basic shape and the figure of the guy. You know, it was indeterminable exactly what his face looked like. Car unknown. So they was working with a minimum amount of information. I mean, if they was looking at any camera up the way, and the nearest one would probably be in Logansport, maybe Lafayette on 25, of anything that would be facing the highway. Because any building that would have security, it would be facing that area where it was supposed to be secure. It wouldn't be facing out at the road. You see where I'm at? And even at that, with the security camera all the way out to the highway, I mean, the image that she got on her cell phone was probably going to be way better than that. You know, way better than that. And then in seeing it like that, you would say, well, we can't tell who it is here. We can't tell who it is here. So being that we can't tell this, we can't tell that. It really would have been an issue. Now, I think once that they knew it was TB, once that they knew the vehicle, then they could go back on the old tape from Lafayette and Logansport, look that over, find that vehicle and say, yes, there he is right there. That's him. That's the guy we was looking for the whole time. But before that, they had no idea. They didn't know who the guy was. They had no idea of a name or a vehicle type, probably.
Well, in that age, you know, hell, they can take cell phone tower pings, GPS, they can track, your history, all that stuff. And I'm sure they've got it. It ran through my mind, just how much, the cops had on the guy. But switching subjects, it wasn't the U.S. It's Iran is retaliating and sending missiles in Iraq.
Yeah, when I read that up there, man, that's why I said, man, bye-bye Iran. I mean, game over now. Because if they attacked us, man, Trump said the other night, we got 52 selected targets. You want to fire on us? Game over. So probably by tomorrow, I don't know, we'll probably own Iran. Or we'll be at war with Russia, China, that kind of shit. You know what? Whatever's going to stop it from coming out that it's TB, that's what's going to happen. Guarantee money. Guarantee it's already set to happen.
The drought. Man, there ain't been a drought in this country since 72.
Yeah. You know what? I signed up for selective service when I was 18, but I joined. You know what? I told everybody I joined when I was 19. Actually, I had just turned 20 less than 2 weeks prior to me joining.
Dude, I enlisted when I was 17.
17, yeah.
I actually went delayed entry. I signed up when I was 16. Because I didn't turn 18 until I was in, the military.
Wow.
But then I was 17-year-old.
That's a young guy, man.
I had to have my dad sign. There wasn't nothing I could do. But, you live and you learn.
Oh, you know what? Even today, hell, I could go through basic right now. Like no issues. No issues at all, man. Hell, I think I'm in better shape now than I was when I was 20.
Man, when I was wearing basic training, it was the best shape that I've ever been in my life.
Yeah, I was in good shape when I got out. I mean, I don't think I was in bad shape, but then again, I wasn't as in the goodest shape when I got out. I mean, when I got out, man, hell, I was pretty fit. You know where I'm at?
Hey, switching subjects again. I was, going offline to call you. I'd asked a question about what went on. They were saying about the gal in Michigan. What
yeah.
Did you say?
Go on.
The Adrian Quintal or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
I missed that part. You was breaking it down when I called.
Well, here's kind of my situation on Adrian Quintal. She's up there. It's like roughly 2:30 a.m. She calls her friends. There's men outside of my cabin. I'm shooting at them. I hit one of them in the face. I'm firing my weapon. Call law enforcement. Send him here. Okay, yeah, I will. No, I'm calling them right now. So she calls law enforcement, gives them an address that was 2,000 off, because when they got to that address, they're like, okay, this ain't where it happened at. So they had to call her family, get the correct address, and arrived about 45 minutes after she called her friend. Now, at that time, and through that time, after firing outside at men that she believed, I guess, was there firing at her, she goes out a window, put her boots and her cell phone on top of the cabin's roof, jumps out, loses the pistol that she had that's now out of ammunition, and takes off running to the west, across the highway, into a river and drowns accidentally. Now, you know what? I got to call BS on that, man. Something is wrong with that. Something ain't right, man. Something is not correct with that equation, because people do not go mad out of their head and just go do that shit in the middle of nowhere. That never ever happens. Now,
something's not adding up on that deal.
Yeah, something isn't, man. Something entirely isn't. Because look, they had search dogs. If she was barefoot when she went running, she would have left a very hot track. They would have took that right to the shores of that area. You know what? That I don't know. Is it a run? Is it a river? Hell, I don't think it's the size of the Wildcat. Like, they found her in 3 feet of damned water. 3 feet of damned water? Holy shit, man. Wildcat's deeper than that. It's like, if you guys search that area with drones, air, dogs, big search party, it's like what? A square mile? It's like, holy shit, man. She should have been found immediately. And again, man, I take it back that there is somebody somewhere that was there to pick her up that double crossed. And I think that they killed her and put her back there. I mean, it's the only thing that makes equation. It's the only thing that really fits, man. She had to have been in on it. Otherwise, the only thing I can say is, well, I guess this woman just clearly went mad out of her head and went and killed herself. I mean, it don't make any sense.
Well, wasn't she into like the drug scene pretty big or some deal like that?
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? People have said, well, she was buying drugs and she probably did it to get away from them. I'm like, look, man, if I owed some drug guy so much money, I thought they was going to come and kill me. I go to the police and go, yeah, look, dude, I was using drugs and everything. I haven't in recent because now they want to kill me. I mean, if you could keep these people from killing me, maybe something like that. But I wouldn't try to like fake my death. I don't know, man. People get very illogical, man, when they're looking at stuff. They really do. They take some big leap of like conspiracy rather than looking at it and thinking, why? Really, like, what are we looking at in reality? Their mind jumps to like alien abduction and shit. It's nuts.
Well, I'm along the lines that maybe that, they had, if she owed somebody or the boyfriend was in on it or something, or something, she willingly went with them. And once she saw who they were, and then they done her in and brought her back and dumped her.
Well, you know what? I mean, I was thinking about that. I mean, that was the thought that I had, was the double cross. Because if she's in on it, we're like, okay, you're going to be there. You're going to have an alibi. This is all set up. It's all rigged here that, you're going to be looking very innocent. Ain't nothing they could do to you. Okay, man, I'll be there. Now, when he goes and picks her up and he's thinking in his head, but you know what? Never liked her. Nah, I'm going to get rid of her, man. Now, I'm not saying he shot her, but I make that as that he would kill her in some like manner, then go back and place her body there where it would be found after they had searched by a long minute. Well, depending upon how he murdered her, then it could look like a drowning. I mean, look, man, if I hold somebody's head underwater, man, until they drowned, and I mean, like, let's make it like that, where they went like grabbing and clawing because they, like that. And then I went and put him in the water. Now, after so long a time, there wouldn't even really be that, from where I held you. Now, I realize that in forensics, man, they can get pretty detailed, but this is like, God, how long after was it? It was over a month after, maybe pushing 2 months. How long after was it when they found her body there?
3 weeks, 4 weeks.
That was it?
But, it brings back the question, when she's shooting out the window and everything, instead of calling the police, she calls a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing's adding up on the deal.
Yeah, I asked the sheriff about that. I said, well, why didn't she just call Benzie County? I mean, why'd she call her friend? He's like, buddy, I wish we knew that because we're looking the same way. The biggest puzzle we got is why she didn't call us in the original. It's very odd. And that, again, made it look set up to me.
Yeah, that's a weird deal, man. That's a weird deal.
It is.
But, getting back to that Delphi thing, after me and you talked last time, I sit down and I pulled everything up and was, examining the whole area, the graveyard, the guy's horse trails, where they found the girls' and the whole outlay. And like you said, that is a small area. That trail itself.
It is.
And it even brings into more questions. When I was doing my research, that is a big deal there in that area. A lot of people go out there and they, walk that trail. And it just blows my mind that there wasn't more people out there that day, especially when it was a snow day for the kids. They had, not at school. So, it just coincidences all the way around on that deal. That there wasn't more people out there, nobody heard the scream. Him being out there and able, to just, them being unfortunately the two that he found, it just sucked all the way around. But, getting down to my point on the deal, I guess that was fed back into the video camera thing I was going to go. So never mind. That's what I was going to go to.
You know what? That kind of brings a point up that I've touched on before with the size of the trail. And that is something that I should do. Next time I'm out there, I will. And like I said, I don't even know how many weeks I've said this, man. I got that video coming, but I still need to get back out there. I still need to get back out to the trail again. But when I get back out there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the trail. Like when you walk into it off the Freedom Bridge, heading down to the railroad bridge, I'm going to pan it to the right where you can look right down and see Deer Creek. And I'm going to pan it to the left where you can see there's just that short little area of woods right there to your left, So like when you go down through there, and I'm going to say that like law enforcement was called after 5. I'm going to say by 7, there was a search party. A bunch of people were out there. Now I could take 5 people, and I want to point out how this would work. If I had a search party of 5 people, me being one of them, I could say, okay, you being one guy, stay to my left, halfway between me and County Road 300. Okay, will do. I'm going to walk the trail down. Okay, now you 3, I want you to be so many 20 yards to my right. The next one 20 yards down from you from there. And then the next one, you're going to walk about 20 yards this side of the Deer Creek. And we're going to walk this all the way down to the railroad bridge. All right, let's begin. In 16 minutes, I just covered the entire trail in 16 minutes time. Now, there was a lot more than 5 people in the search party, but they was out there for 5 hours. Well, okay, and I realized that they had to ask the people if they could search on their property. No problem there. They asked, I always forget their names. I don't know why. The people that own the adjoining property right there on the north side, starts with an M. They asked them, and I'm sure that they searched their property on over to the ravine. But I think that what stopped them from because they asked Ronald Logan if they could search his property. He said, yeah. Go ahead, you can search my property. But when they hit that ravine, and that's what you'd have to look at. And again, the next time I'm out there, I will get a picture of that ravine. I will go down into the bottom of that ravine and show you the height and the width of it. Because when they got to there, they would have looked at that ravine in knowing that that was private property to the other side and was a horse field. They would have said, well, they would not have went this far. They would not have went to this ravine and then tried to cross over into a horse field that went down to Deer Creek right there. It would have been a little nonsensical to think that 2 young girls would have went and did that. And it didn't occur like that. Now, they was brought from the south side across Deer Creek to that area. But the point is I believe that that's why they didn't continue searching over to there. But everybody looking back now, they're looking at it as a double murder. At that time, there was no signs of foul play. There was no reason to believe that they left by any other way than of their own accord or having been abducted and taken from that area. So,
well, Mike, when they was doing the search out there, and the night before, did they mark their progress out there? I mean, does anyone know where they, caught it quits? Were they begun the next morning to continue?
I'm positive that law enforcement did at the time because they had cleared like so much area, where they could say, well, these areas here have been searched. We know that they wasn't there yesterday. Now, at nighttime, it says 2 girls were abducted or felt probably abducted from that area. They probably had law enforcement going around the area the whole night, keeping a lookout out in case they were lost and came out of the woods down the way, that they would have been found. So I don't think that they would have suggested in their mind that, like, oh, they were abducted, murdered, and then brought back. That's why they picked the search up the following day. Now, if I'm looking at that as 5 hours of searching, they would have searched to the south side, like the 2 properties that sat to the south side. I don't want to give their names, but, that sat there, the lady that walked her dog and the other lady. Then we can say they searched that area. On the south side of the bridge, under the bridge, to that area. Back to the north side, that entire area. The people that start with them, probably their area. And they felt pretty sure that there was no signs of foul play at that time, but they felt that they weren't there. But now people, the following day, being in the daytime, that's when they started searching the river right there in case they had fell in, something like that. So they did a very good job, I'm sure, of the search, but it wasn't to the right area. But there was reasons for that. And it's like Sheriff Lesenby said, we don't know what to do because we've never had a situation like this in Carroll County.
Well, the reason I asked it was I was, trying to see how far they stopped and how far they was off from where the girls was found the next morning.
Okay, let me do this. I think that let me take this off real quick. And let me pull it up on Google Maps, because I think that this would kind of help explain a bit.
Hey, Mike, give me about 2 minutes and I'll be right back with you, okay?
All right. I'm going to go ahead and explain to everybody here.
The UPS man just ran and I got to go out here and grab the package.
Got you covered. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this, and then I'm going to take everybody to the map here. So kind of watch where I'm at here. Now, this is where you enter at, right here. Let me blow that up a bit, and I hope that you guys can see this all right. Now, when I go down here, this building is no longer here. This is the abandoned building. This is the CPS welfare building that was abandoned, not his vehicle. That was a misquote. If the vehicle was abandoned, they would have had everything. They would have had the vehicle. They would have knew up front his vehicle. Now, he had backed in here because by backing in, his license plate would be facing away from County Road 300. Nobody could see it as they drove by. He followed this trail here up to here, came up here, and hit the trail. Now, right here is what I'm saying. If I was following this trail and I had one guy right here, because this is a little bitty patch of woods, it's this people's backyard, really, because this right here is their yard, up to there. But this is the trail. Now, if I had one person walking through here, I followed the trail. I had one person here, and one person down here that, of course, would have followed down by the creek. As you can see, as I walk this trail, all we would have to do is walk that right down to the bridge here. This area here would have been covered. They would have hit back over here. Let me shorten the scope a little bit. They could have went up to here, but it's like right here going down. Wait a minute. Actually, kind of let me pull that up a little bit different here. It's from about right here going down. That's that deep ravine. This right here, it's a very deep ravine. I mean, like such, man. And if you would have got to that ravine and you was searching and you looked across to the other side, in knowing that that was a horse field here that only goes down to the Deer Creek at the end, because they would have come out on County Road 300 here. They would have got to there because that's where Ronald Logan's property begins, right there at that ravine. So if they hit this ravine here, they probably would have said, yeah, the two girls didn't go walking that way. You know, it would just be positively not what they'd be doing. You know, they would have hit this ravine and thought, okay, we ain't doing that. So I think that that's why that they had stopped there. Now, had they kept going that night, but I think what they did was they went over here on the south side, all of this area, like back into here, maybe back up to here even. You know, but this here isn't the trail. This is private property over here. The trail area begins up here and goes straight down to here, and then you turn around and go back. It's like a 16-minute walk to here, 16 minutes back. Could have walked the whole thing twice in 32 minutes. So in 5 hours of searching, I think the ravine is what halted it. And I think that that's where they began the following day. But I want to point out to Devil here that I think all of this area going to the right of the highway, all the way up to here, that night was searched. All of this, all of that area. But now when they got to Ronald Logan's, it was already after dark. I think that they stopped here at the ravine and then picked up the following morning at about noon. And it was shortly after noon when they found him. So I think that that's why they probably had marked all of that as done. Maybe was heading back over into here and to this side the following day. You see where I'm at? And I believe that that's kind of the lowdown as to why it, I took myself off. There we go.
But in the meantime,
back to me.
While they stopped, there were still people out there continuing the search.
You know, there may have been. I mean, I think that there was probably people that would have been out there all night. You know, I think law enforcement was driving around the area all night as well. But I think that the sheriff had concluded the search at about midnight. And he did that, he said, with the help of others who, you know, was telling him we can find no signs of foul play. And, you know, hey, maybe the girls were abducted and taken from here. Maybe they ran off, you know, even though I'm sure that the family was like, yeah, they wasn't running away. But it's what you have to kind of hold in your head.
You know, it's just, you know, those poor babies, you know, like we talked before, you know, like when we go back to those screenshots once again, you know, thinking, you know, the poor child was out there hurt. God knows that, you know, like we said, had trauma probably. God knows what else the guy had done to him, you know, and laying there suffering. Probably hurt everyone, you know, within the area, but couldn't yell or anything. And it just makes your blood boil to know what this friggin' monster done.
Yeah, you know, that it does. I mean, that it does. And that's what bothered me. That's what got me on this. That's why I pretty much concluded my old channel, because when Delphi happened, it all became Delphi. Now, I was following what law enforcement was doing. I want to point that out, because there wasn't anything investigation off the go. I wasn't covering anybody because there was no person of interest. I was looking same areas as everybody else was off the go. But, you know, it was until that first year. Now, at the first year press conference, we was holding Daniel Nations as a high person of interest. I think that everything kind of pointed that, yeah, he had a mentality to do that. I think his criminal record didn't help, nor did his family life prior to. But, you know, I was on the telephone with Daniel. And, you know, I was getting letters from him. So I was in the know as to what was going on. You know, I knew that they did, when they went out there and talked to him, I knew that they didn't talk to him. That's why they came back and said, we can neither include nor exclude him. I was like, we knew that when you left, dude. You know, so, you know, wait, what? Go ahead.
Well, it's just sickening to know that the one suffered, out there that night. And like I said, probably couldn't, yell for anyone, couldn't contact anyone, but laying there knowing that, folks are, wandering around trying to find them. But yet, that sucked to be in that situation, especially that poor child, that poor baby going through that. And laying beside her friend, which God knows what had been done to her, it gets me emotional, man, just thinking about it.
Yeah, and again, I mean, when I found out, it was the second day, and I really had no idea as to like why we didn't know about that before. My friends, and in fact, Lily, today's her 7th birthday. I didn't just go down there for that, but I knew her mom and dad, and they lived just south of me here. So, I went down there on the night of the 14th, and man, that was probably a little after midnight, and asked them if one of their daughters, and she had a friend named Liberty, and I went down there to see if it was her, if she had been contacted, or if they had heard anything from her. They're like, yeah, she was talking to her earlier today on the phone. I'm like, okay, because I didn't know these people. But when I seen that it was right there in Delphi, I'm like, oh, wow. And that was the mind-blowing thing, because I was all the time telling this girl's mom down there, it's like, because her daughters were that age. And where I live is like a square mile of do what you want. There ain't anybody that comes back here. If somebody comes back here where we live, we know they're coming a mile up the road. You see where I'm at? And I had to go down there, and I was asking about her friend Liberty because of the name. And they're like, no. And then I'm like, well, I said 2 girls, ages 13 and 14 were like abducted, murdered this day. They're in Delphi. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah. So, I came back home, and it was just such a rarity that a crime of that, would happen in Delphi, of all places. And I was just following what law enforcement was doing, because I felt that an arrest was imminent right off the go, that this is a local person, man. This is some local guy, man, probably got hopped up on drugs or whatever. Woo, went out and did something like that. Here's the FBI set up shop with live feedback to Quantico. This guy's gone, man. This guy's hit, no uncertain terms. So that was kind of my original thought. So I was basically following up on what law enforcement was doing at that time. Now days turned to weeks, turned to months. Then we're like, hey, man, I'm getting hold of the sheriff, man. What's up, dude? I mean, hey, what's going on? Well, can you tell us about this? Because then it started becoming more question than, answers from them. And that's when it started to change a little bit. That's when me and my friend, man, we started looking more into these persons of interest. And it became not that we was trying to find the person. Exactly. I mean, don't take me wrong. I think everybody kind of had a, I want to go find this guy, because, I think everybody in the world wanted to know who it was. So, everybody was doing whatever they could to keep it out in the open, keep it on the air, keep that case to the forefront, where anybody that may have seen this guy or might know who he is would have a picture there where they could go, hey, yeah, that looks like so-and-so. Well, 46,000 people phoned in, man. That's a lot of people. That is a lot of people calling in with information, but none of it amounted to anything, and pushing 3 years now. 3 years.
Well, what I don't understand is how, the first thing that runs through my mind is how far did he stop these kids, and where did he first come out on them? And why in the hell if they thought that he was, sure to God they had the sense. They took the video. One of them had the sense to get the video out and stop, because they thought he was up to no good. Why didn't they run? Why didn't they take off? Something ain't adding up on that deal, Mike.
On what?
Why they didn't run? Like I said, look at the distance on the phone. The picture they
took. Okay, yeah, but you know what? Yeah, I've kind of stated it before, but let me go back here for a brief moment.
That's the thing that puzzles me on the whole deal, Mike. I mean, you know, I'm sure I heard you explain it before. It's just that it keeps ringing in my head. You know, I mean, you every time I see that picture or that little bit of a video, and it looks like he's far off the video. I don't know, he could have been much closer, you know, because, you know, it's hard to judge how far from that little bit of a video.
Now, right here, right here is where the girls were abducted. Actually, about right in here, you know, just south of this little pedestal there. Let me blow that up just a touch for everybody. About right here. Now, his picture was taken when he was up in here. Okay, he's up to the front, but he's coming from the north in that video. He's walking this direction to the south. Now, in response to your question as to why and where he was spotted down here by this lady who was walking her dog down this trail, which isn't a public trail. That's on what was railroad property. I don't know who owns that now, probably the state. But it's right out in her front yard, and she can walk her dogs down through here. Now, she came across him down here by the bridge on the south side. Now, he could have had just walked, because that was at about 12:30. They said he got there at about noon. So they probably felt that he would just crossed. He may have been walking across to the south side when she came across him and talked to him for a moment. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm out here walking my dogs. How are you? Oh, beautiful, man. Fantastic day to be out, isn't it? Yeah. And that's who the one that really got the most details of his face for the sketch was. Now, I thought, yeah, he's walking from the north, this side over. But was he to the north? Because he was spotted to the south side. What if he's stationed up here on the south side of the bridge where he could keep a look to the front? Because he wanted to abduct somebody on the south side to take him over to here for the crime. Well, now, if he had did that and was stationed here in the wood line, and that object that's in his pockets right here was really field glasses, so we could see across to the north side to see if who's coming look victim for him. Now, if that's the case, then he was stationed there to the south side. Now, when they got back down here to that south side, because we know that they was right here at 207. Libby was here, Abby was here, and she took her picture facing to the north right there. Now, he was nowhere in the back of that picture. Nowhere. Not back here on this general landscape where that hill is, or going all the way back to the bend on this trail. He was nowhere behind them. Now, we know that when they got down to here, now he's right here. Or he was at the time, and they never gave me a timestamp of that. But what if they got down to here, and then he walked up, having a handgun, and had stated something to him, stay right here. If you move, if you see where I'm at, you stay right there. Now, if you walk up to about here, especially when there's no leaves on the trees, you can look straight over to here and see if anybody came down that 505 trail, because it's back in these woods right here going down. You can't see it from here. Okay. Now, if he walked up to there to make sure that nobody was there, he knew the coast was clear. He could turn right back around, get him down the hill. Let's go. You see where I'm at? So he could have been stationed on the south side of the bridge, looking to the north with field glasses and waiting. And he waited. And it was opportunity when they arrived. And I don't say that to sound light about it, but that was what he was seeking, was opportunity. And there it was. And I think that that's what he hopped on.
Predator. He was looking for, the weakest prey.
Yeah. I think that his motive is helplessness. It's torturing and brutalizing helplessness. That's like his inner motive. I mean, above everything, that's what does it right here in his head. What up, Bear?
He was looking for anyone. That poor lady was walking her dog. He got hurt.
Maybe, but I mean, see, here's the lowdown. Everybody kind of points to that, like, well, if he was there just to kill somebody, why didn't he kill her? Huh, buddy? Well, that's something you're going to have to ask him, because one, she had 2 dogs with her. Secondly, she lives right here. Now, he didn't know that there wasn't people inside that house. He wouldn't ask the old lady, hey, you got any family that's expecting you back in a minute? Because if he had abducted her and took her over here, what would he have done with the dogs? How would he know that somebody inside the house wasn't expecting her right back and went looking for her? You know, he wanted some time for this crime to happen. So, I mean, I think that's my first suggestion why that lady wasn't picked as the victim.
Did Ronald Logan live by himself?
You know what? Ronald Logan, I believe, did, but he had a lot of people. I shouldn't really be saying that, but he had a lot of people that would stop by. You know, he was a party kind of guy.
Okay, I get what you're saying. You know, look, I'm from a small town myself. I know how it works. You know, you get these old drunks, and they'll have people coming through that drinks with them
all night long.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, he did, and I'm not putting him as a bad guy. I think Ronald Logan's a very good guy. I mean, everything that I've heard about him, I mean, he's just your average old guy that likes to drink, likes to sit back, get a little drunk, you know, have people over, man. You know, and hey, at his age, man, if he's having a good time, God be on his side, man.
Well, I don't know, man. I thought I'd give you a call and ask you those few questions and see what your answers and replies were.
Well, I always appreciate it.
So I'm sure someone else is trying to call you.
Well, somebody was.
And I appreciate you taking my call.
Hey, man, I appreciate you calling, man, all the time, dude. Man, you have a fantastic week, bro.
You too, and I'm going to get on standby and listen to the rest of the show.
All right, man. You have a good one. Peace. All right. Well, that was Devil Lance calling. Doing his Devil Lance thing. I always enjoy his calls, man, because he's always got some good questions, man. He's got questions that most people just never totally come up with. You know what? I still got people, man, asking me to look further into Ron Logan. I believe he did do it. I believe that that's him, dude. I do. And I'm like, okay, they got DNA and fingerprints, and he's been to prison and stuff. I can positively tell you he had nothing to do with it. That guy, the bridge guy, is not 77. He wasn't then, and he ain't now. You know, and besides that, man, look, a 77-year-old, man, you got to go down some hills, man. You got to go through some terrain. You got to cross the creek and go back up. I don't think Ronald Logan, well, I'm not saying Ronald Logan couldn't have done it, but yeah, the point I make is that person was younger than that. And I mean, you can tell by the bridge guy pictures that the guy ain't no 77. In fact, I mean, when I was looking at it, I was thinking more as 40-ish. In his 40s, you know, by just looking at it. But all you can see is kind of a face, not really much on it. Nothing very determinable. It kind of looks like a mustache. But again, man, some of that's shaded. You see where I'm at? Any place where you get a little bit of shade, it becomes very large. It almost becomes like out of balance. It almost takes a shape. I'll put it to you like that. It's like when I was showing the pictures of that where it looks like he's got a big bar and he, you know, going down his leg. Well, it couldn't have been a big bar, man. I mean, nobody's going to carry a bar in their pants, not when they could have just carried a backpack. See what I mean? But it's that pixelation right between light and shadow that gives it shape, just like that pouch, man. It looks like a fanny pack. Then it looks like a holster. Then it looks like a flat T-shirt, hair. Maybe it's a hat. I mean, it's really hard to say, man. It was so pixelated, you see? Hey, take care, Wombat Dundee. And if you do live in Australia, tell your friends about me. Tell them about Michael J. Koala Cat. You know what? I was thinking about this just because of its humor. Trade name only. Michael J. Cat. All right. Well, J is the middle initial. Michael J. Period Cat. But what if I went by trade name Michael, last name J Cat? All one word, J Cat. Okay. Well, I thought it was kind of cool. I did. Oh, you know what? Maybe I won't do it. Maybe I won't do that. Hey, AJ Doman. Right on, man. Thanks for being here, bro. Me? I did. Shady. It's this guy right here. The Cat in the Hat. In French, chapeau. Oh, and gato in a sombrero in Mexico, if you know where I'm at. Yeah. I did. Oh, Stuff Morales was going to call. Well, hey, call in Stuff Morales. Morales. Man, I knew some boxers with the last name Morales. You know what? I mean, hey, I have the heavyweight champion of the world call. You know, why not, man? Give me a call, Morales. Be nice to hear from a boxer, man. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm going to throw that up here. Yeah, it does. And that is exactly what I've concluded. Law enforcement knows he's behind bars, man. And they know, yes, he did do this. That is the same guy that did this, man. We got his DNA fingerprints. He's our guy. We talked to his family. We know how this happened. We want to talk to him. We'll file charges. Now, in knowing that he's behind bars, they know that this guy is not out there and going to go do that in the meantime. You see where I'm at? That's why they can safely pull this over until at which time they can go talk to him. And when they can go talk to him, then they'll file the charges. That's how it will happen. Now, I told people going back, I said, well, how do you think this year is going to happen? And that's why I had that, year prediction thing. Because we got the 3-year coming up next month. And when the 3rd year gets here, it should be. And I say should be. I mean, because I could be mistaken, but I think it's going to go same as it ever has. Media will be allowed only media. Okay, if you don't work for NBC, ABC, CNN, and all those big letter names like that, bye-bye. We don't know the questions you're going to ask, and you might ask something that's going to put us on the spot. We don't want you. Bye-bye now. Bye. That's how they operate. So it's only going to be the media, where you get your news from, the media. It's going to be them in there. Nobody's going to ask anything worth the I ain't going to show worth the crap. I actually have a picture of Wolf taking a crap. I told him I'd use it, but yeah, well, I'm not going to. So anyway, yeah, they know he's behind bars. Yeah, they know he did it. Yeah, they know he's involved in numerous crimes. Yeah, all of those places are getting their cases together so that they can announce them all at one time, all at once. The 4 sets of murders I got him on is probably just the surface. I believe that. I think that, really when I found out about, what was her name? Mary Pryor and Ann Pates, it was the cause, or not the cause. It was the murder and how it was done that reminisced so much back to TB. And it was the way that was done in conjunction to what was found down there at Susan Collins in Tennessee. That's where I'm like, man, if he was there, if he was around that CSI school at that time, man, I would put him more than the primary person of interest, man. I mean, if I knew that he was at that time, I would say, man, they executed the wrong guy. You know what? They killed the wrong dude, and that other guy had to die for something he didn't do. They're never going to come forward with that. They won't. So I'm going to put it to you like this, man. It very well could be that he did Susan Collins, but I don't think they're going to come out and pay that many millions and millions of dollars for executing an innocent man. That ain't going to happen. But I can point to California because he lived there in, was it Escondido? Now, I got a brother. Talked to him the other day. You know what? I hadn't talked to that brother in, God, man, what's it been? Man, you know what? It might have been like 19 years since I talked to him last. Oh, that's hard to believe. Very weird like that. But anyway, he's in the Navy, and he's stationed there in San Diego, in the same area where TB was stationed when he was out there. And I asked him because I says, well, Escondido, man. I mean, where's that to you? He's like, oh, that's right up the street, man. Oh, that's like where we live, man, more or less, like right in that area. So I told him, I says, hey, man, if you come across or if you could like find any like local like brutal rapes and murders that are unsolved in that area, let me know, man. I said, let me know because I'm looking for that. He said, I will, man. He said, I'll let you know. This is my next younger brother. He damn near got the looks. Oh yeah, don't get me started, Shady. Don't even get me started. Hey man, you know I did a year due 6 in Westville for marijuana, man. That's right, Carroll County. Yeah, Delphi, man, nailed me on marijuana. Marijuana. You're going away for a long time. Do you realize the people you could have killed? Do you understand that, sir? Yeah, you might think it's funny, but to us, it's a big deal, dude. You're going to pay us a lot of money for like use marijuana. Yeah. Insanity of law enforcement, man. They're treasonous. Know it. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like, no, but you know, it is a true fact. I was arrested there for marijuana. I wasn't selling. They didn't hit me with sales. I told him, man, I says, hey, look, medical. That's why. Well, okay, that's what my lawyer comes in. He says, he's like, hey, I got some good news for you. And I'm like, oh, thank God. One thing I'm needing right now is some good news. He's like, well, you have that website. You know, I don't think I explained that about my website. You know, back in 2000, man, I had a website. I had my own website. I've actually paid pretty big for that website at the time. It was called Global Ganja. And on Global Ganja, I had GBay, which was set up like eBay, except you could sell seeds. You see where I'm at? But I was running that out of British Columbia, Canada. So it was all set up legal, right? I knew that going in. Now, yeah, I had that website. Yeah, I was making some money off that website. But here was the overall. He comes in and he says, okay, your website? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, they can't hit you for selling seeds. And I'm like, yeah, I already knew that. You know, I mean, is that your good news? Yeah, that was it. I'm like, well, that ain't no good news, man. That's news I already knew, dude. I already knew they couldn't hit me on that. It was set up like that. So anyway, there wasn't any good news, man. I had to, you know what? For the first drug offense, no sales, man. Just possession of 30 plus grams. Sent me to Westville for that. Yeah, they put me in there with all kinds of, yeah. It was insanity. And I'm like, why are they doing this to me? To whom did I hurt sitting in my house smoking marijuana? Nobody. Oh, I never left my house, man. It was like here, man. If I went anywhere, it was down to the store and back. I stay away from people for the most part. I don't like most. Most people, they're not rap type. They don't get it. Oh, man, I missed it. What did Ben Green say, man? Oh, Lily. Hey, man, thanks for being here, Lily. I didn't actually see you until now. Well, I missed what Ben had to say. Crap, man. Well, yeah, I mean, you know what? Actually, at that time, yeah, I was. That was in what? I think it was January of 2004 when I was arrested there in Camden. At that time, I was. But I mean, look, man, I was growing, man. I had like 67 plants in a room in my house, man. I was growing for years, years and years. Yeah, man. I mean, as far as having the goods, man, I had all I ever wanted. Man, I never had to buy. It was like the greatest ever. I mean, like, you know, I ain't trying to go on to that subject, but what I'm saying is like, who was I hurting? Nobody was stopping by at my house and getting any. I wasn't selling to anybody. I was just using it. I was growing it and using it. There it was. Well, psychologically, yes. But I mean, you can't become physically addicted. It ain't like morphine or, something down that line. Even alcohol. I was physically addicted to alcohol. I mean, man, when I would stop, man, I just went into a madness. I mean, the detox become like insane. I thought I was going to die if I didn't get alcohol. That's how I'd feel for like 4 days. So, yeah, I was, man. Exactly. I was set precisely. Now, I had people that stopped by, man, from other states. I had a dude that stopped out from New York who thought it was crazy because every time, you know, him and his friends came out, and every time we would go out someplace, man, they'd stop at a store and buy up a bunch of cigarettes. And I'm like, and what's with buying all the cigarettes? They're like, dude, they're like $7 a pack out in New York. And I'm like, what? Like, oh, holy shit. Yeah, it's got to be like a vacation for you guys, man. It is. But anyway, man, I mean, they couldn't believe what I had, because they paid like, I think it was like 100 and some bucks for like a nugget this big and that fat right there, man, in New York City. I think it was like Novel's Haze and something else. I forget what's one. It starts with an M. Mazar Sharif. And they bought two buds out, man. Smoking them. I was like, showed them what I had, and they're like, oh, well, pissed, bro. Still brought it though. Anyway, man, I don't have anything bad to say about weed. I mean, like, I had my day when I smoked it, all the time back then. I missed that too. Oh, man, how am I missing all this? Man, double ants. If that's about you, buddy, I mean, I hope you're all right. Okay, so anywho, does anybody want to call in? Here's the number. Let me throw it up for you. It's hard to remember. I know that. Like I said, man, that guy, when he got a hold of me last night, he was watching the video that I did on Denise Flume. And that's why he called in, because, he was a sheriff, or an undersheriff of the surrounding county of that one. And I don't know. I guess when he called me, he thought that I was or had been law enforcement. I said, no. I said, not like standard law enforcement. I said, I was like military police, that took a couple of years of criminal investigation, but yeah, I've never did this as like professional, as like law enforcement. I think aside of that, man, and I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know exactly how it works, but I'm pretty sure that like to become a detective, you got to be promoted to a detective. If you're an investigator, you probably took to college to be an investigator. You see where I'm at? So it's kind of those things right there is like, yeah, I wasn't in standard law enforcement, man. All I'm doing, man, is I'm using common sense and logic, man, as my guide, man, through the facts, the evidence, the circumstances, and trying to narrow it down to a person whose name I had heard as a person of interest that was called into Carroll County. That's what tipped me off. And upon looking into him, then I concluded and started drawing lines, strings, checking shit off the criteria. Then I became convinced that it was him, that TB was Bridge Guy. And I think that will be, day after tomorrow. It will be 1 year ago this Thursday that I said on my channel right here, yeah, man, TB, he's Bridge Guy. I said, I've seen enough now. I believe it. That was on December the 9th, 2019. So I will be having a special on that day in 2 days that's called, TB is still BG. That will be my show right there. And you know what? Between now and then, I want everybody to remember, I'm just wishfully believing. I'm just hoping. I've never made one serious connection. I'm held under a belief, if you will. No, the real guy, the real guy that did it, yeah, he's 18 to 40 and lives right there, man. Like right around Delphi, man. Law enforcement completely missed him with all their evidence. Everything that they got, they don't know who did it, man. They have no clue. No idea. They're lost. 3 years later, well, no. But we'll get you. You'll see. It's coming, and we're going to get you. You know that. Never thought we'd change directions, did you, buddy? Yeah, my backside, man. They knew when they made the briefing who did it, and I told everybody they know who did it. And everybody's like, no, they don't know who did it. Yeah, they do know who did it. You know what, man? I had somebody from the UK this week. I forgot all about that, man. I should have threw that right up front. Got a hold of me, man. And you know what? He said the same thing. It's like agents are being sent. Yeah, I was talking to this dude, right? And look, man, I'll lay like 800 UK dollars on it. Okay, that you're wrong. I said, well, look, man, you live in the UK. So if I say, yeah, man, I'll throw $800 on it. I'm just taking your word that you'd pay me. I mean, it isn't like no contract that I could legally go after your money. Blah, 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 blah. You're wrong. Yeah, it's all right. Like, you know what, twat? Listen to me, man. Go ahead, man. Tell everybody you reached me and I laid $800 against your 800 pounds, man. Tell them you made a bet with Michael J. Cat that he was wrong. Absolutely wrong. And I'm going to take his money. He's like, yeah, after looking you up on Google, I think I know better now. I'm like, yeah, right. Hey, troll, peace, bro. Man, why do trolls show up at my channel? Do they not have a bedtime? Yeah, don't laugh, man. Some of them probably do have a bedtime. Oh, yeah, please. Crayon. Okay, I'm not going to say that name. But yes, please do. Send me any information on any unknown case like that, especially if the case has facts, evidence, stuff like that, where you can draw a timeline out. I very much enjoy looking through such like that. I really do. It's kind of how I spend my free time, by just looking cases over like that, just trying to make what I can of them. I mean, it ain't all got to go back to a person I know. I mean, look, I can look at a bunch of cases. I can draw a timeline as to knowing who it is. I'm not psychic, but I could tell you a lot about that person if I knew the inside information. I have a pretty good, you know what? I told the dude last night, man, I said, I do only do this as like, I know it's like hobby, but in my spare time, I mean, I'm not like making money doing it. You see where I'm at? So I do enjoy doing it, but I always have. I mean, like going back, I would always look into cases when I found that they was interesting, and I mean, God, man, and I still got it somewhere on my computer, man. I started like going through cases that I had looked into in the past, going all the way back, man, all the way back. First one was Helter Skelter when I was little, man. How old was I? I think I was like 8, maybe 9 when the television movie came out. That would have been probably about 77, 78, somewhere right in there. They had the movie Helter Skelter, man, about Charles Manson. That drew my interest because I was like, wow. It just seemed unreal to me that there was like really people out there when I was that age that was doing kind of weird stuff like that. I lived in like small town Indiana, man. Little bitty lake, Niona, man. Population in the wintertime, 500 people. In the summer, like, I don't know, like 1,500. Had a bunch of like people that would rent cottages. See where I'm at? So I had my all-time friends that lived there. Then I'd have my summer weekend friends that would show up in the summertime. So, I lived in a little bitty area, man. And I thought, wow, man, go out in California, man. I mean, like that kind of crazy shit's going on. You run into like some weird people out there like that. And that kind of drew my interest to that. But I mean, like, even at that age, man, I still held Charles Manson up as like kind of, wow, this guy lived out in the desert with a bunch of hot women that would do anything for him. And he couldn't find anything better to do than have people murdered. Seriously? Honestly, that was his big idea? Man. And I was sitting there, man, at like 9 years old thinking about Susan Denise Adkins all night long, man. I was like, man, I would have been having my way of it. Kind of looked up to him for a way, It's like, man, something must have been going on for him. Well, not always. Well, I mean, as far as like looking into the crimes, what was her name? Hang on, help me out. The little girl, Benet Ramsey. That one, OJ, Ted Bundy, the Night Stalker, Zodiac. I mean, man, Son of Sam. What's his name? Wayne, down there in Atlanta. He's the one that killed all the little black kids. I forget his first name off the top of my head. But I mean, like, there are many, 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 many cases that I've looked into over my years. I mean, like, seriously, many. I mean, like, if it was making the news and it kind of piqued my interest, I was trying to find out anything I could on it. Now, when I go back like that, there wasn't any way I could reach the sheriff. I mean, maybe I could have, man, called long distance and said, yeah, could I speak to the sheriff of LA, please? Is he there? Is he taking calls currently? You know, but I mean, what I mean is, it's not like today, man, when everything's at your fingertips, man. Today, I can look like right into something and pull up information on someone. Wayne Williams, thank you very much. Exactly. Hello. Hey. Hello? Yeah, hang on. Going live. Go ahead.
Hey, I forgot to ask you something, Mike. When they found the kids out there and everything, did they announce or say anything if there was any weapons or anything found?
No. In fact, the cause of death is still unknown publicly.
So they kept all under the wraps.
Yep.
Okay. I didn't know. I mean, I had watched a couple of the, the press releases and everything. You know, I didn't really focus on the detail, but, I didn't hear them say anything on that, and I thought I'd ask.
Yep. No, they never gave a cause of death at this time.
Now, when are you planning to go back out there to do the walkthrough, Matt?
Probably within a week. Now, I only got the one more time I got to get out there, and then I will have 5 sets of footage. Now, all of these sets of footage will be at general walking time. Now, mind you, the girls walk slower than I did. Cheyenne walked slower than I did. Flannel shirt guy walked slower than I did, but not by much. If you see where I'm at, if I was walking along, if we all started walking and we wasn't together, I would probably only be ahead of like flannel shirt guy by maybe 30 to 40 seconds by the time we hit the bridge. It wouldn't be that he was that far behind me, but I'm trying to piece it into an order. Okay. The girls come in and they go down to the bridge in due time, because we know at that one point was 2:07, and then walk to the south side of the bridge. Then we can pick the time up, because we know by the time they got there, or in or around that time, was about the time that he was coming from the north side. Now, we can determine that by the time that he was seen exiting to the north. But Cheyenne came from the north but didn't see him. But flannel shirt guy, who arrived 10 minutes after her, did. And they walked past each other. That means that he came out of that woods after Cheyenne had walked by onto the bridge. But that was before flannel shirt guy crossed him on the 501. You see where I'm at? So once I get all those set into play, then I can say, okay, right in or about this time, because I got the general walk time from the suspect from the crime scene to the 501. But I know that it was past the time that she got there, and she arrived at this time. So she was already to the bridge by the time that he hit that trail and started walking. Then I can show within an approximate of 45 seconds, maybe up to 2 minutes, right within a little time frame right there of where they crossed past that. But that will be everybody's angle. Now, I'm not going to show anything like, oh, this is them getting abducted. What I'm saying is, no, at this time, they're down there. Now, then I can start to walk over to there, and I can say this much time had elapsed. So the crime would have began at about approximately this time, would have ended at this time, and then he began walking out, with that crime having been done in that window of time. Now, that puts a pretty good scope to it. Now, the reason that I started the timestamp was when I heard of Cheyenne, because I hadn't heard of her at that time, and that's going back now. When she was brought to my attention, I'm like, who is she? Oh, she was there. When? Oh, well, she had a picture at the south side hang on, man. And Greeno went and got the picture, and I'm like, okay, well, I didn't know about this. Right there's the caption. I was there at about 3 o'clock, and I didn't see anything. The timestamp said 2:49. I'm like, so she was on the south side of the bridge at 2:49. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, Well, she was at the south side of the bridge at 2:49, and we know flannel shirt guy walked in 10 minutes behind her and did see him. I said, that's pretty significant. We can draw that into a timeline of events. Oh, okay. Well, let's do that. Okay. And that's where we drew up that original timeline. Now that timeline, I think, could be better done because I think he came from the south side. I think that's where he was at Wade at. You see where I'm at? And that's why I think that it shortens that. Because at 207 from that one pedestal, then you walk to the south side of the bridge. Now, we don't know how long that they was down there until that happened, but we know within a time frame because of when he was seen leaving, and we know that the crime occurred minus walk time. Okay, so we got like a little window right there of unknown time when they walked down. But then he's coming down the railroad bridge from the north. Now, that's going to tell everybody right there that he came from the north side, when in fact, he very well may not have. He may have walked from the south side, told him to position right there, had a handgun, showed him the handgun, stay right there. You know what I'm saying? Because all he had to do was walk up a piece to check the 505 and walk right back because he knew the coast was clear. You see where I'm at? And that's what triggered her to say, okay, look, man, I'm clicking that on video record. That way we can get his audio because, man, we want law enforcement to know about this. Now, I'm at least pretty clear to the fact that he didn't say, stay right there. I'm coming back to do this to you. He probably said it with a little bit of firmness and force and showed the weapon. Maybe he could have said something really creepy as he walked by and they're like, hey, this guy's really nutty, man. Well, he's coming back. It could have been any number of things. And I'm not suggesting that any one of those happened exactly like that. But I think that he may have came from the south side, then turned back around upon seeing the 505. Coast was clear. He could see no hikers were coming. He could turn right back around, get him to go and follow his demand.
Do it 30 feet.
Exactly.
Wow. Jesus. Well, I thought I'd call you back and run those questions, that question by you because I was scratching my head on it.
Well, I always appreciate the call, man. Hey, you're the only caller tonight.
Yeah, I was wondering, somebody kept beeping in while I was talking to you earlier, and then they never called back.
Yeah, they do that purposely.
Oh, think so?
Yeah, it's the same people that call with the pizza thing. It's Kyle one week, Jason the next. Yeah, look, man, it's just some local kids having fun. They ain't got nothing to do, man.
Hey, what do you say? What do you say?
Hey, man, look, if you can't have fun at a murder case, where can you have fun, right? That's the way you look at it.
Well, Mike, I got a quick question. Since you mentioned that about Cheyenne, do you think he was hiding in the woods and she walked right by him?
Well, yeah. In fact, I kind of covered that a little bit. Hang on, I still got that other screen up. Let me go to it real quick. Because if everything is like I think it happened, and I hope everybody can see this. Hold on. No, you guys can't see that. Let me add this. Bam, there we go. Okay, hold tight a second. Now,
Cheyenne, the sister.
No.
A different Cheyenne.
Yeah. Kate, I think her name's Chelsea is the sister.
Okay. I was thinking her name was Cheyenne too. I don't know why I thought that.
But the girls were abducted here. Okay, right here. Taken down, crossed the creek. The crime happened here. And then he had to walk back this way to get back to the 501 trail here and pick it back up. Now, at that time, Cheyenne was already down here at the last pedestal on the right, down in here, facing northward right here when she took that picture at 2:49. Well, I knew that at 2:50, he was seen up here walking the trail out. So my speculation was that he had left, but he was keeping an eye to his front right here as he was walking back toward the 501 because he wanted to get out of there without being seen by a hiker. So if he's seen a hiker, he would station behind a tree, let them get by at a comfortable distance, then continue. And I think that was what happened with Cheyenne. I think that he seen Cheyenne coming up to 501, stationed back behind a tree, let her get down toward the bridge, then came out, then crossed paths with flannel shirt guy because he did not want to be seen coming out of the woods right there on private property. people would have instantly pointed to him as the person of interest. You see where I'm at? So he didn't want to be seen. That's why he stayed hidden right there. Now, I use that as an example, but I'm not saying that it happened. She could have walked by and hit that bridge as he was coming out. But it's like at the time she's on the south side and taking that picture, that's the same time that he was seen. You see where I'm at? It was like at 2:49 when flannel shirt guy seen him. Now, that was 10 minutes behind him. And actually, in the time it would take to cross that bridge to get to the south side right there, with the same time right there as him walking in, it's about 10 minutes, about 8 minutes. Would have seen him about 2 minutes, about this side, right up in here. If my speculation is correct, he would have got here. She would have got here. And about the time that she got to the bridge, he could have carried on without worry of her seeing him through here. You know, if he's up into here and hit that 501 and headed out. But it was like right at about the time that he hit this 501 trail and started going, that's when flannel shirt guy was arriving. Like, you know, right there, or walking. And they crossed paths. He was the second person that seen him. You see where I'm at?
You know, he didn't know exactly what he was doing, you know, as far as, you know, able to hide and stuff, you know, because it being February, dead leaf fall, the noise you make off that trail and dead leaves.
Exactly.
You know, and I just, it puzzles me as to how, you know, nobody heard them. You know, that just blows my mind.
Well, you know what? There is no way to physically show you on video, but it's that the area where the crime occurred is down at the same level where the creek is, a little bit higher, of course. It's on the shore, but not that much higher. It's like if you follow that creek across, you step up a couple of steps. Okay, now you're level with the ground right there. You see where I'm at? It's like down in a little holler. Well, actually a big holler. But, you know, it's like right there when you look back to your west, like he was heading back to the 501, you got a big giant hill right there you got to go up. Now, if I take you back, hold on one split second. Let me go back to this screen. There we go.
It sounds like to me that trail is on a saddle.
Is on a what?
It sits like on a saddle.
Yeah, this down in here does. It's like up here. And up here, well, it's a 70-foot, it's down a 70-foot incline like that.
Okay.
You see where I'm at? Because when you're on the flat, when you're on the flat part of the ground where the track is, and you cross that track, you're 70 feet over the water. You see where I'm at?
Yeah.
So this down in here is, but this right over in here, you only step up, and then this ground right here is somewhat flat, but then begins the hill. You know, this down in here is flat, and then you got to go up the hill here. You start heading this way, you hit a great big ravine that goes down through here. Now, he could have went this way, went out the south route, but he still would have had to go up a hill to get up to here in the same like way. Same like way if he went here, then he had still had to go up that hill and cut left. So now the reason that I say that is because at the time when that crime happened, if Cheyenne was up in here and he was down in here, down on the lower side of that holler, and he fired a 22, I don't even know that she could have heard it. I don't even think that she would have really heard that. Or if she did, she never would have gave it a third thought, never would even have occurred to her. Now, I'm not suggesting that the girls were shot, but I'm throwing that out as an example. That if they were, in fact, shot, I don't know that anybody right there would have heard that, but I don't think that he would have used a handgun to make that much noise in an area where he wasn't supposed to be and draw attention to that area from people surrounding. He knew that the lady walking her dogs lived right here, and that the Webbers lived here, right across from him right here. So I don't think that he would have used the pistol for to kill with, but I'm not saying that he wouldn't have. He did at the Catholic supply store. Nobody heard that. You see where I'm at? Nobody heard that gun go off. But if it was a 22, and I think that that's what he would have used. He would have used 22 because it was more silent, just like the I-70 killer used. He used a 22 because it was quiet, it wouldn't draw attention, and he could get out of Dodge before anybody noticed anyone was killed.
Just enforcing it all the way around the way that whole thing played out.
But you see, now if I went down there to the crime scene area, well, I actually have that because I went around the crime scene twice, like fully around it. That way people could get a scope of like all angles, you know, how the ground looks down there, rather than from the west side looking to the east like they had it laid out. Well, I went around that twice, but then I got that hill going back to the west there. Now, if I get up and I show that ravine, and then I go to the west side of that ravine, anybody that would have walked up there and seen that, they would have went, yeah, the girls didn't, they wouldn't have kept going right here. You know, it wouldn't have made logical sense that they got lost heading into that area, because there's very little area to get lost in. You see where I'm at?
Yeah. All right. Well, man, I thank you for that little bit of info.
Oh, no problem.
Also going to holler at you, man. If you don't care, I was going to holler at you tomorrow morning if you didn't mind. I was going to ask your opinion on something.
Oh, no problem. You know what? I get up every day at exactly 9 a.m. That's when my alarm goes off, and usually by 10, I got enough caffeine in me I can be talked to.
Yeah, you're 2 hours ahead of me, so that'd be about 8 o'clock my time, so that'd be fine.
8 in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, I've got an appointment at about 9:45, and I was wanting to talk to you before I went to it.
Oh, no problem, man. Give me a holler.
All right, man. I'll talk to you in the morning.
All right, man. You have a good evening. Peace. All right. Well, that concludes Double Ants for this evening. Maybe, unless he calls back, or maybe somebody else wants to call in. You know, maybe the pizza guy's out there. Maybe he wants to give us a holler, man. He wants, hey, man, you got 20 pizzas that never show up. Listen, dude, because if somebody knocks, I want to know. Feel me? Do what? I missed it. Kim Berry case. Is that the one you was speaking of, Daniel? All right. Well, anyways, I could conclude, unless somebody wants to call in. I'm probably going to call this an evening. I was actually supposed to reach Icons after the show. Give little Icons a call. Actually was going to kind of show him some Power Director, a little bit on editing. I really want him to go live, man. I want to see Icons live. That is a premiere show. That's one I would definitely enjoy, man. Icons live. Call in. Call in's welcome, you know. How tight would that be? It'd be like a dream. You know what? There was a crime that happened in Australia, and anybody from Australia, man, that's got my back on this, check it out, man. There was a lady there that lived there, certain of her name. It may have been Catherine. I forget who she killed, man. May have been her husband. And like hacked his body, man, and like cooked it into meals and set them out for these people she didn't like, with like notes on it, like this is for you and this is for you, man. And then cooked this guy up, made a real bloody disaster of it, man. They arrested her, and I looked at her and I was like, wow, I need to write this lady, man. You know, I got some questions I want to ask, you know, like, damn, lady. I mean, got a problem with your temper, maybe? It's like, calm the F down. You know, maybe Valium, man. Maybe they should reenact that. Maybe doctors should willingly hand out more Valium. What do you keep staring at me, man? I know, but why, man? You got something on your mind? Are you waiting for pizzas? You are. I see. What thinks 20 pizzas are coming? Hey, he's so gullible, man. That's my gullible little guy there. I love him the most, though. I do. I love him more than anything else. I tell him that every night, and he's like, yeah, I don't give a shit, dude. You got Alpo or you don't, whatever. Okay, Daniel, where are you? When you say my backyard, where is my backyard? Because, I mean, is that Australia? Oh, hey, there's Shorty McShort. Right on. Oh, man, you missed it twice. Oh, my God. Oh, Lily. Okay, everybody, it is Shorty McShort's daughter's birthday. Lily, today's her 7th birthday. Lily McShort. It's her birthday. And if anybody wants to give a shout out to little Lily Short, who's 7 years old today, adorable little girl, please do it now. So everybody can see, like, you know, that people love little Lily Short. There you go. See? It's a happy birthday. And if you're out there, right there, watching Lily, man, thanks for joining my show. I appreciate it the most. You know I do. See, man, you're getting the happy birthdays right there. Everybody's happy that Lily's 7 today, including me and Wolf. Come here. Don't growl at me. Oh, I'm sorry. He's a little arthritic. And Wolf says lows. Don't you, Bear? Yeah, he does, though. He really does. I think he's wanting Alpo or something. No problem, man. And I hope you have a great birthday, Lily. I hope you have a fantastic night. Here you go. You want to hop down? Or are you happy now you're on my lap? See, you never want to be on my lap any other time, man. Dude. Never comes to me for lovin's, man. Do you? No, it's not my birthday. It's Lily's birthday. She's quite a bit younger than I. Here you go. I did. Hold on. I know. I'm sorry. Here you go. There you are. There, man. You got your shout out, okay? You got on camera. Aren't you happy with that? No? All right. Try to please your puppy. Gotta do the best you can. All right, everybody. This here, right here, is my email. And if you have any questions, comments, crimes unsolved with some facts and evidence, please send them to me. And I would be happy to look them over and to give you my thoughts. But it probably won't be a person of interest, of course, because, I mean, like I said, man, TB was kind of dropped to my lap a little bit to the media. That's how I heard his name. But this I can tell you right now, if there's any high rollers that are in Las Vegas, and I know that there's a couple watching, I know that like out there in Vegas, somewhere right in that general area, there's some drunked up rich guy that's watching my show right now. And he's all like, you know what, man, I came to Vegas with $2 billion to burn. And I'm ready for a bet. Well, I got one for you. I'll put $100,000 against my left arm that I will personally have a friend hack off via contract. If I am wrong, that what's his name? Thomas Bruce committed Delphi. There it is. Now you heard it. You heard it live right here. I will throw $100,000 against my left arm, and you can use it however you want. However, man, I don't care. It won't be my arm anymore. Seriously, you can put it on a display case. You can have it holding a beer. You can do whatever you want with it. It'll be your personal left arm, which is tattooed with the red badge of courage and such. Okay, I mean, it's a little faulted, but not much. I mean, the Stones were good, but if I had my way with it, I would have had the Beatles put on it. Still might get it back tattooed, like Abbey Road or something. I don't know. I'm considering it. Oh, wow. See, man, Lily got all kinds of happy birthdays, man. All right. And see, man, we got Lily White, man. She's a moderator. And Lillian. See? Man, wow. Man, we got all kinds of Lilies here. That is really cool. And Kim on the trail. Man, yeah, see? I'm glad today was your birthday, but I'm sorry I missed it, man. Kind of had the live show set up. Well, everybody, that is it for this week. And I appreciate everybody being here with me. Moderators, man, fantastic job. Lily, happy birthday. And I hope everybody has a fantastic week. And I will be back Thursday evening at 6 p.m. Thursday, December the 9th. That is 1 year since I called it TB is BG. And it will be another year until it's finally released. But then I can go to bed at night and sleep well in knowing that I was correct. I will see you in my next video, everyone. Peace.